Welcome to the new edition of the Top Flight Show. So we're going to do a quick review of Warrington Top Flight 10K and an update of the series, a few ideas because a few athletes have given me some ideas and I'm sure we've all got some.
Quick question, Chris.
Also look at Jarrow.
Who's joining you on the show? Are you going to introduce your
I
compadres or what? Come on, man.
As always, welcome to Cameron and Rich and Stacey. So thanks for coming and joining us again and bringing up the tone.
It's a pleasure to be here, Chris. Thanks for having us.
Sometimes down.
Yeah, exactly. We'll not say who. So we had Warrington 10K the weekend and another absolute smasher of a run from Omar Ahmed, winning in 29:31 from Doug Musson, Matthew Lee. In third place, knocking up his third race, I think it is now, and C. Lachlan, Jason Bennett coming back for a fourth one. And on the ladies' side, Kirsty Longley was the standout performer with her third event for us. So she's absolutely flying and right at the top of the league. So you were watching it. How was it?
We were. Me and Cameron in the studio commentating on it. I think we'll start with Kirsty. Just solid from the off. Got nestled in a group, grafted with that group. And then I think she pushed on and maybe about 6K, about 5 or 6K, she pushed on herself, got on the back of another couple of athletes, went past them, just churned it out and timed it well, I thought. Season's best is about 35:08 or 09, and she ran, 35:15 on the day, something like that.
Yeah, she was good.
It was around about there, so it's 35:13, so, she's
right up there.
She's running as well as she has been running all season.
I thought it was good because I think she was in no man's land for about
last 3K.
The last third of the race, she was definitely no man's land on her own, pushing up the hills. And it's always difficult when you're going through the hilly part of the course and you're on your own down short paths. And but I think it was perfect for her at the start. She had people to latch onto, and then they were starting slow, so she wasn't going to let that happen. No. So she kept pushing on, driving on to the next group, and then eventually she was up by herself. But she didn't let the pace drop, did she?
No, you could see she was. You could see she was grafting. I thought she was looked like she was just working hard, churning away.
Yeah. Kirsty's so impressive because I can't believe every time I hear that she's 48. Yeah. She's so.
Yeah, you said that today. I was like, what? I was like, what?
It's so impressive.
It is.
Yeah. A bit of an inspiration for sure, I think.
Yeah, definitely inspirational. And she was saying, where are all the girls half my age who she wants to race against? So we did have a clash this weekend with the Northerns changing. Northerns, Midlands, Southerns road relays changing weekends, and we'd already chose this to avoid the date of last year. So it's just some, I guess, learning for next year. I'm trying to work with as many people as possible, but the people who are organising events privately are easier to deal with because they book things in a year in advance and are happy to move things around. But it's quite difficult to get all the dates of the club events because they change them.
It still didn't affect some of the real quality in the race though, because there was some good athletes down to race, and Kirsty had a fantastic run, and Omar Ahmed, it was a demolition job. Yeah,
it was.
Absolute
demolition.
The thing is, what struck me about it is he didn't care who was in that race. He didn't even look as though he looked round to see who was on the start line. I don't imagine he checked the start list to see who was lining up next to him. The gun went and he was, I'm off. I'm doing my thing. If you want to come with me, come with me. If you don't, I'll see you later. And he said see you later pretty early on because no one went with him, and this is no disrespect to the other athletes in the race because they all had good runs, and Doug Musson in second place, 31:19. He's not hanging about, but Omar Ahmed, he tore them apart from the gun.
Yeah, so Omar said he knew what the target time was, so he just wanted to
Was he running to run just under 29:30 because he looked so comfortable, and he was checking his watch, and I was thinking, is he thinking, oh, I need to be 5 seconds quicker this K, because he seemed to really rally for it.
Yeah, you know what, the course is in general flat, but I was out on the bike, and it's not as fast as I thought. After I was there last year as well, thinking this is actually quite flat and fast, but I was on the half marathon last year. Right. But because you've got that bridge that you've got a little bit of a kick up and a few turn and then another
quite
hill.
Twisty through the park as well.
Yeah, I think if you run a massive solo effort, it adds a little bit of character, and by and large that course is flat. But I think the way that Omar ran it, if you go out really hard and you're on a solo effort and you try to run on an exact pace, them two little kickers at halfway will like totally disrupt your rhythm, and it can knock you out. So yeah, maybe he was trying to make sure that he was comfortably inside, and then after that was probably off pace, and then had to pick up again. It is hard to judge if you're going out on your own. It is hard. Well, we've all tried it. If you try to go for a front run, you can feel great early on, and then if the wheels do start to come off, there's no salvaging it, isn't there? So you've got to be careful.
Yeah, and especially if no one is around to push you, or you know that you've got such a big gap, and you're like, well, actually, I can ease off a bit here. There's no motivation to push through that. So yeah, that's incredible. Mentally, that is so difficult to go out there hard and keep checking on your pace and your time, knowing that you've got a comfortable win.
Yeah, what do you guys feel about check-in watches? Because they were banned from our group.
Really?
Yeah, Lindsay, he just said that if you run with a watch, you can only get negative feedback. And I now and again I fall into the trap of going like, oh well, I'll wear the watch, and then if you check, it's either too fast or too slow.
Yeah. And
then that's a negative thought in your head. Done. So he would just say, you take off your watch, you use the force basically.
Go off feel.
Like go off feel, race the race. Like you know how far 10K is. It's about 30 minutes or about you do this all the time in training. Like you know how far it is. You know how you can, if you get to a sign that says 3K to go or 7K in the race, you know how to proportion your effort. But yeah, I guess if you're running for like a specific time, but yeah, whether Omar got positive or negative feedback from that, it's hard to judge, isn't it?
Who knows? But two minds about that. I think sometimes if you're perhaps coming back from injury or illness, and you've entered a race, and we've all done it. We've entered a race going, I did it this season, and at like 3 races, and then couldn't do anything because I've got a calf injury. But if you come back from injury or illness, you can kind of sit down with your coach and go, well, I'm still going to do this race, but let's be a little bit conservative of it. Or you might enter a race and go, right, I'm going to try a different tactic, I'm going to try different pace strategies. So it kind of depends on how you want to execute that race, what you want to actually get out of it. If you're racing it for position, then forget about the watch completely. If it's times, then sometimes the watch is beneficial. Sometimes it can get into your head and do the opposite and not be very motivational and kind of get into your head and hold you back almost.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think the distance is a factor as well. I feel like if you're running a 5K, you need a watch. Like,
but then I think that comes with experience, maybe because you've run them before. So like,
possibly,
and it is more
that's what I'm likening it to. Like, say someone in Omar Ahmed's position.
Yeah.
But then I think if you're running a half or a marathon, then maybe it does have more of a place in them races. I don't know, it's a tough one. I think it's individual preference as well. I never used to wear one in training, and if we needed feedback from times, though, it would come from the coach to say, is it going too quick, or get your finger out here, what's going on, you're going slow as out.
I've never worn a watch on a race, and I don't understand cross country. I never understand.
You know what I thought you were going to say? I don't understand how they work.
I can't
tell the time yet.
I wear it for fashion. I try to fit in. No, I don't know. I think, to be honest, it's like, if it's on most people now, if it's not on Strava, did it count? That's a thing. So maybe Omar's on a bit of a Strava cop right now.
Yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? I guess, like, when I think about it, sometimes I put it on there because I then want to see my stats afterwards. But it's only good if it's
it's only good if all his fans.
Yeah, it's only good if the stats are then good. But it's like you really shouldn't fall into that trap.
No,
exactly what you said before though. Like, I wore my watch when I raced that 5K at Battersea because Nathan had said to me strictly I could only run like 16-minute pace. And when I checked down after a K, I was just inside the pace, but I felt easy. So I got to a K and I was like, yeah, I've done this now. It's like a day off for the last 4K.
Yeah.
But then the next race I did, I was like, in my head, I was like, right, well, it's a tougher course. But as long as I'm around about 15:40, 15:45. But after the first mile, there's a little bit of a hill. and I made the error of checking down. I was already just outside 16-minute pace, and that was it. I just totally lost it. So that next 10 minutes was rubbish.
So that
and the rest of the
got into
race
your head.
was in my head, yeah. And then when I ran my half marathon PB, I didn't run with a watch because I didn't want to set a time target.
Yeah.
So I ran 1:05, and then the only other time I've done a half marathon, I had my watch on, and it was that bad weather at the Great North Run, and it was like...
You just wanted to drop that in the pod, didn't you?
It's not that good.
105.
It's 8 minutes behind the world record.
Research Green, I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to drop in about Omar Ahmed and what you found out.
Yeah, I was trying to do a little bit of background research on Omar, and one of the headline stories that I found on him is, do you know about this race that he did in 2021 where he ran the wrong race?
No.
Yeah, so he entered, I think it was it Bristol or Bath? Hang on 1 second, let's have it. It was Bristol. So Bristol, they had both a 10K and a half marathon on the same day. He had entered the 10K race, ran the wrong route, ended up running the half marathon, won the half marathon, then he got disqualified.
For being in the wrong race.
For being in the wrong race.
Okay. You'd think after about 40 minutes of running, you start to think, actually, I've been going for quite a while now. Especially if you're checking your watch every 5 minutes like he was last. Like, hey, we're not dissing you, Omar. Like, we want to see you at the next event. But that's some suspicious, like, that's
I've only ran 105 for the half.
That's a bit fishy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
actually,
was the prize money better in the half marathon by any chance? Did he try and just cop it at the last minute? Like?
So
I have no idea what went on, but I think it was honestly a genuine mistake when they've interviewed him, and he's just done the wrong race.
I love that. I'm going to definitely ask him about that. I said at Jarrow. What is funny is somebody won the 5K this weekend who wasn't actually entered in the race. He thought it was a park run, so he came through the line, hand over his barcode, but he's like new to the country, so he thought it was another park run. He just put his barcode.
Was he actually entered?
How quick did he run?
He wasn't entered. He just rocked up.
So he did no babe, no nothing. Just
no. So he just came through the line and like had his park run. I'm not sure. I'd have to because I didn't see it happen. But
what did people say to him? Like, did he get in trouble?
Well, you wouldn't get in trouble. Anybody you could just join in, couldn't you?
No, you can't do that. Because anybody else does.
I've told you,
it's one of them things.
When I couldn't get entered in a race, just rocked up with a number.
Did you?
Yeah, from like a cross-country league. Turned up at this 10K, ran it. I was like second, and I had to try and jump over the barriers at the end, so I didn't go through the finish line, but I couldn't get over them. So I went through the finish line, and then they were like, "What's that number?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't entered." And then they went absolutely mental with us.
Yeah, I can imagine.
You know, apparently loads of people do it for the Great North Run.
Yeah, it's actually really bad, because if somebody did have like a medical incident, all we can do is like scan the bib, so you could get given medication that you're allergic to or something like that. So it is actually bad. Like, people swap numbers for the Great North Run and stuff like that. Well, not just the Great North Run, but they do it all the time. And it's actually not someone good.
Who was dealing out fake numbers this year.
Oh, really?
Fake numbers.
I was stood next to someone with one on. And I tell you what, they were good. They were a good copy. I'll say no more though.
Good counterfeit.
Oh, 100%. You look better than my real one.
It's really tough. So what we try to do to like counter that is we allow transfers until the things are posted out for like a small admin fee, like a £5 or something. But we actually let people swap all the way to the day, so that we like nobody's got there's no excuse for it. Like, if somebody wants to change distance or they can't run but somebody else is going, we try to manage that even on the day. So we'll have queues at race information desk and we'll staff it. So we'd rather people ran and ran the correct number than not run or trade their bib. But yeah, it's hard. Like, we've got the staff to be able to do that, but others obviously don't.
Got a bit waylaid there, didn't we?
Do you know what I just realised? I know this is really random, like it's nothing to do with this podcast whatsoever.
God,
it's left the iron on.
I've forgot to pay for my parking. I might have a parking ticket.
No, where have you parked?
Just along the road here.
No, you won't. You
reckon?
You'll be alright.
Do you think I'll be alright?
6 o'clock. It's after 6 o'clock.
No, I parked up at like 5:30.
And then the podcast gets paused, and then Cameron comes back.
This is honestly, whenever I'm at work in Durham, and honestly, the co-workers will laugh their heads off, but I've had so many parking tickets in Durham. Like, I literally get into work, park up in Durham. It's so... Mate, I don't really need to. Like, I just get up. I get in 2 hours later. I'm in. It gets to 11 o'clock. My parking.
Is your mate all right? The more I look about with him, the more questions I have about his character.
I swear, yeah.
Cam, I don't know how you get by in life, mate.
You'll survive.
What do you know how you get by in life?
Listen, last week it was, you're always late. I rocked up today an hour and a half early.
Yeah, and you've got a parking ticket for it.
One or the other, the trade-off. Yeah, we'll do a segue then to the series standings.
One thing I want to say though, in second place, it was Doug Musson, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Doug, I want to apologise. The more pressure I've been putting on you. Glad you're a vegetarian. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
You should hang your head in shame for that, mate.
There was no bad vibes. There was no negativity about it.
Every year, it's been about a year now. He's been
saying,
trying to get Doug to try a chicken parmo, calling them out on every podcast without fail. I'm not even joking. Every podcast, and then he's found out now that he's not responding to any messages, and we've been like, has he not even acknowledged the fact that we're asking him to try a parmo? And he's vegetarian.
No, cauliflower. Do they do cauliflower?
Now low key, we think that Doug hates.
I don't know. I've never opted for one.
Maybe
hopefully we can put that to bed now.
Yeah. Doug, sorry, won't be mentioned.
Oh, actually, another thing. I asked Jason if Big Bad Bennett has caught on amongst these other fans.
And he said no.
He said no. Not yet. But we'll keep pushing it. Anyway, so...
He's just taking on notice on this podcast, isn't he?
I know. So Jason actually has done 4 races, and it was he's really engaged with the series. He said he was trying to see if he could improve on his points to because obviously it's your best of 3. So Kirsty's picked up another 25 points. Omar's picked up another 25 points, which puts him on 2 races. Doug Musson also on 2 races now.
Yes, because he won the half, didn't he?
Exactly, in Warwick.
Yeah.
Omar won at Aintree.
Yeah.
Matthew Lay has done 3 races now, so he is in the money. We've got quite a lot now who are on 2, and after Jarrow there's going to be a few more, because we'd spotted when we'd gone through the results, we'd spotted a few who hadn't finished in top 10s, but we hadn't correctly identified them. So a few in the Jarrow lineup will end up being on their 3rd race. So it's really hotting up on the men's side. We could really do with more the ladies who are going to do 2 and 3 races. I have got some pretty firm commitments for some who have already ran 1 and are going to do Fulham and Ribble Valley.
Really?
So
I'd like to see Lily Partridge getting back out.
I'll send everybody a message again and see how we're doing. But
I'd imagine
she's got some big names in there, though.
Don't want to put too much pressure on, but obviously, one who's firmly in there is Amy Eloise Neal. So if she's going to run at Fulham and Ribble Valley, that's
she had a fantastic run at Aintree, didn't she?
Yeah, obviously the Fulham entries are still coming in, but we've got about 60 in total who've entered through top flight for Fulham. Yeah. I'm not sure the male-female split on there, but it's going to be stronger in strength and depth than the other races. Obviously, it's another London-based one. We've hit a good time, I think, for it, a week before the European Cross, and that's something that we're going to keep working on, in next year. Trying to be really careful with planning when are we going to do these races, because we need to try and avoid the massive club events. We don't want to go up against them, because there needs to be a good pathway. And then I was speaking to Keith Schofield, who's involved with Friday Night Under the Lights and the Highgate 10Ks and stuff. Had a good chat with him. Obviously, I'm chatting with Chris Barnes from Podium. We're trying to share all of the dates as possible so we can avoid, for example, Battersea Park, Friday Night Under the Lights are in there. So if they're doing a 5K there, we're not going to do a 5K there that month. That would just, there's no point. We're not competing against them. We want to all complement each other. Or if they've got one in London, we go the northeast that month, something like that. So we can try and work together. We'll try and work around the club ones. And if anybody's got any that they want to say, by the way, we do this event or we're planning this, tell me, and then we'll try and do our best to avoid it.
Try and work together.
Yeah, because it's stupid to have clashes. It's not necessarily you are going to have clashes now and again, but it's basically there's not that much cooperation and coordination, especially at local level. Or it is hard because a lot of people are doing this voluntarily, so they just say, we're doing this, we've always done it this way. So if you suggest something to them, they're not the greatest fans.
No. But what I can say from an outsider perspective is how races such as Top Flight and Friday Nights and Podium, they're really, really changing how running races, athletics races are done in the UK. They are producing more higher standard, I would say, in terms of performances.
Absolutely.
They're more engaging, they're more entertaining, they're bloody more fun.
Yeah.
And they're more regular as well. So at the end of the day, like, you know, RunThrough provides races week in, week out and multiple locations around the country. So, you know, sometimes in club events, you know, they're not every week and you have to wait maybe 3 weeks to do it. And then, you know, sometimes it's like you have to actually go through your club to even get into the event. It's like not really at your peril to be able to just enter the race whenever you want. So it's more accessible usually.
I think it's everything about them events, like you were saying, like they're more exciting and the quality they get out of them. But we've said this from the off, like with the RunThrough events that they put on, is they're not just a race, like they are an event. There's everything else that's going on around there. There's a bit more buzz about it. There's things like, you know, when we talk about what we've done with the Top Flight Track series and there's food stalls and coffee stalls coming down, things like that. That all builds into it being more of an event. So then you're more likely to get spectators coming down because they think, oh, watch that 10K. You know what? I'll have a beer while I'm there, or I'll grab me tea while I'm there as well. And I think that is the big difference, definitely.
Yeah, so the feedback that I've had after the track race from athletes, like when you're talking to them and you say, oh, well, what do you think we could do to improve? The sort of things they come out with is, oh, well, could you bring wave light? Could we have lane 3 beer and cheer like at Highgate? Like they want the flamethrowers and stuff like that. They want entertained because it is cool, because they know, or like if we were running them races, we would go like, if your mates or friends and family wanted to come down, they need to be they want to be entertained. It would be cool. It wouldn't be cool to take. Imagine meeting a new girlfriend and taking her to a date to watch your race. And you have to take it to like a track in the middle of nowhere with like 3 people stand there. It would be nothing compared to like going to a big event, or like if you were persuading your mate, oh, I've got this race, come and watch us, and it's like a Highgate or something. It would be absolutely amazing.
There's an insight into your dating life.
There would
right
there would be
watch me running the NYSD 800 metre race.
You know, it's really funny. I'm not going to say who this person is, but obviously like we know like the Watford Opens, and I know somebody who took somebody there to watch him race. He's actually like a good runner. He's like a 153, 154 guy.
This is a date.
It purposely entered a race that was like a 203, 204 standard. Come in this race, it like bigged it up. Anyway, it got to like 500 and going, absolutely just nails it, wins by this huge margin.
What, to try and impress
So
a
cringe.
girl?
Yeah.
Did it work out well or not?
I don't know.
Did it last?
I really don't know.
Imagine if you just exposed someone.
How much of the ick would you get off that?
No, it would
watching
not.
Watching a 20-year-old like spank some under 15s over 800 metres, like you'd get icked out surely. Stacey, would you?
Nope, there'd be no second date. I would have left the track on the first lap. I would have been like, hey.
As soon as the gun goes,
yeah, I'm off.
See you later.
See ya.
I thought you were good, but if you'd stick around for the second lap. But yeah, anyway, making these things exciting. And anybody watching, if you've got any ideas, just tell us them, and we'll, if they're good, we'll try and do them.
And how can they do that? Can they email? Can they
just send us? Just reply on Instagram or something. Send us messages on Instagram
in the DMs.
Yeah,
slide in his DMs.
Slide in the DMs.
Yeah.
We'll reply.
Biggest mistake of your life.
Open to all ideas, definitely.
Yeah, and if obviously you guys have got some ideas as well, but one that Doug said at the weekend, which is great. He said, "Why not?" So obviously we've got our like point system.
Stop your colleagues putting pressure on me.
Stop talking about Palmos.
Yeah,
bring food fans down, but not Palmos. Now he was saying, you know, like we're doing the whole points thing like Formula One, but he was saying you could have like, well, effectively like a constructors championship as well, but it wouldn't necessarily need to be lined up by club. So we train in like the LD crew, so we could allow people to enter as their coaching group, for example. That would be my like take or spin on it. So you're actually, obviously people are signing up for the clubs and they're loyal to the clubs for club events, but why not be loyal to like a more of a niche like your club?
Yeah.
So could we
100%.
do something like, you know, a top 3 over the season coaching clubs? So, you know, we've obviously had Scott, and we've spoke with Rory, who were running for Hawker, coached by Andy Hobdell. could we convince Andy to put 3 of his runners in across the year, and it's their like 3 best scores across races by 3 different individual athletes? Could we do the same from like the LD crew? So any 3, get 20 people to run across the year, fab, because that's better for us. But the best 3 scorers who are assigned to that coach, and that money, maybe it goes directly to the coach, maybe that's spread between the athletes, they can do with it whatever they want. But that would be, again, maybe something engaging. Again, that maybe that would get branded teams in, or maybe you know, we've got lots of little groups who their coaches maybe don't get recognised as much as like they're actually the contributors, or they've got athletes across a few different clubs. So I don't know, like that. I thought that was a good idea. Maybe something we can explore.
I would absolutely love to see that. That was an idea that I was thinking along the same lines of that. Of why can't we have these teams that are not necessarily a part of the club structure at all? These almost private teams, whether it's under a coach or under a brand or under another name. Maybe it's just a group of mates that goes, do you want to start a running team? And we get 6 of us together. I think something else that I would love to see is mixed relays, female and male mixed relay races on the road. I'd love to see that.
How far? Do you reckon, like a mile or something?
Yeah, maybe mile race, 2 mile race. Say if it's 4x2 mile, and it's got to be like boy, girl, or you could do what swimming does, and they don't insist on the format of when the female races and the male.
I like that.
It's up to that team to determine who goes where. So you could have 2 girls start, 2 guys finish. You could mix it up. Anyway, and it's getting the tactics right as well.
Yeah, it brings a different element to it as well.
It's classy. We've got like some of the traditional ones, like the regional and national 6-stage and 12-stage and Mansfield. But then, because relays are popular, there's more and more relays getting put on. But it's then sort of overdone as well. So like there's a northeast cross country relays, a northern cross country relays that aren't as well attended. But maybe that like a change in format there would work.
What about as well? So 2 options you could do as well with that. Let's say if you implemented that into like the Quayside 5K next year, like some kind of team event, whatever it is, and then you say, right, we're going to have contact a load of local businesses and be like, you can have your own team with your own vests, and they would be able to like help pay for like the prize money in a pot because through the sponsorship, or getting the athletes there, paying it to get their own athletes there for their own teams, or even like what I think would be take off, and we were talking about it earlier. What were we talking about it earlier? Do you know in London they'll do like a corporate 5K, or so like last night it was like the Bloomberg mile races around London where I had all the different corporate firms and they all run for your own firm. So like all the business, you could reach out to businesses and be like, right, do you want to like have your business have a team there? So like could be like a local solicitor's firm and a
That'd
local
be cool.
Yeah, that would be good. That
accountant's firm, and they're all there. Like everyone would turn up for that. Like if it's your work, like and you've all got your own vests on. That would be a good idea as well. So I think that
is a good shout. That
I mean, and that works in Japan because their running scene's absolutely like unbelievable for like half marathon-ish type races, all them like the Ekiden relays and stuff, and it's all linked to places of work because the tradition out there is that you join a company and you work for a company for effectively like your life, but they have sports teams connected to these companies. So you'll run for like I don't know, Toyota or whoever it is, and the standard's like unreal, and they're doing it for like they're dying for the company.
That's
it would be pretty good, but it's just a cool social, isn't it? Like everybody's into health and fitness now.
I think there's a market there. I really do.
Absolutely.
And like you're not going to be saying like it's the half marathon event. Like it would be something simple like mile relays or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
The 4x1 miles. So then it opens up to a lot of people can do that as well.
It's a lot more accessible. It's less intimidating. And like run clubs and gyms, they're now the new Friday nights. The numbers of people going to bars and clubs and alcohol consumption is decreasing. So ride on that wave.
I think one thing we've missed about the distances though, 2.2 mile. Why are all these relays 2.2 mile?
I know.
I don't know.
Is there a reason for that? Was that not just how far like the original course was?
Yeah,
they measured out a course and it was 2.2 miles.
It's just weird though, isn't it? Like there's so many races. I don't know if it's just a northeast thing, but whenever there's like a relay, it's 2.2 miles.
It's random, isn't it?
So weird. Yeah,
every loop you choose. Anyway, we'll move. Any more ideas? Just come at us, and we'll keep discussing them.
You got some work to get through there, man.
And
Go on then. Yeah, let's go. Let's get the diary ones out.
Also, anything to give back to the coaches. I think just coaches they're not paid. They're not. Yeah, we need to do something for the coaches.
I like the team thing.
Yeah,
I like the team thing with a coach. And like it brings them into it as well. Like, so heading up this team, we have got so and so, and this is their coach. Why have you picked these lads to do these events? Why have you picked these girls to do these events? Things like that. I think
building up the backstory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How long have you been coaching? Yeah. What did you see in that athlete there that made you think they'd be good for the 5K? Well,
Yeah, no, that would be class. And I think the thing I like about, obviously you don't want to break from tradition too much, but let's say you're in a club and you're in a relay race, but you're the only one from your training group there. It's not the same as if you were in the team and everybody's the guys who you train with. It would feel different. Like, it definitely felt different when I was younger at Gateshead, when I grew up with all the athletes in the team. Yeah. So we all knew each other across all the disciplines, the sprints, throws, jumps, whatever, going to the British League, doing the relays. And then it was obviously very different, like 20 years later, when I was still turning up and running at the 6 stage and 12 stage, but I was the oldest one in the team by 10 or 12. Like, it wasn't like I was running with my mates anymore. I was just like rocking up. So yeah, it would be cool to be allowed to run with people who you wanted to for like more of a team thing.
Definitely. Make it happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
You can't do that in championships and stuff, but we're not championships, so we can make our own rules.
No, but it's going to be more fun than that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We can do what we want.
So we're returning to Jarrow. So last year, I guess it was a bit of a blueprint for the stuff that we're doing. It was before the Top Flight series, but it was our first podcast, so it's like we're 1 year in, and we looked at the course and we bigged it up, and Callum Johnson won the A race. We had Joe Armstrong, who's returning this year, Larry Mack, who we talked about, Sam Charlton, Sophie Piker, Jasmine, our own Jasmine, who was second in the ladies. So yeah, we had a really good turnout for the first race. Because that race was fast, we've then kicked on again for this year, and we've got a very, very strong field coming in. So yeah, we can have a quick run through of the men's field. I think as the men's race is looking very strong. Ladies not so strong in terms of numbers, but we've still got a little bit of time. We can still ask, and hopefully that field does pick up.
Got a little bit of time. Hopefully we can get some last minute entries, because I'd love to see the ladies' entries be a little bit stronger in numbers.
Yeah. So on the men's, we've got Omar returning again. So he's going for his third race and third win. If he does, then he'll be sitting pretty at the top. Still not guaranteed, because we've got some guys who are going to run at Fulham and then Ribble Valley. Ribble Valley would be the decider. If you had somebody won at Fulham who's already won one of our races and then the win again at Ribble Valley, they would take that on the tie break. So it's not sewn up, even if he does win this one, which I think keeps the excitement. And Omar, when I was looking through the stats, we know he's a relentless front runner, but also he's done 4 times under 29 this year. Jarrow is a rapid course, so yeah, I think we could be seeing a super fast time.
Course record?
Course record was last year 29:30-31 from Callum. So yeah, definitely within.
I think that'll go.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
He looks.
The question is if he's going to be challenged or not, though.
Yeah, so I mean,
he's got Alf.
Yeah,
Alfie Manthorpe is. He's not messing about as an athlete.
Yeah.
29:09.
So Alfie's done 29:09. He was second in Top Flight at Battersea. He's also third in the 5K British Champs road race at the Great Northern Run.
I watched that.
So he's coming into form. He's ran a 3:46 1500 PB this year. So he's got the speed. He was 10th on the UK Champs on the track. So yeah, he's been
EBs sub
this year.
14 a couple of times on the track as well.
13,
I'm sure like 13. Is it 13:47?
Yeah.
He ran 2 very close, like 13:47, 13:49, something like that at the BMCs. So he's had a good season anyway up to this point. But he ran a fantastic race down the quayside. I watched that and I was impressed with his run there.
If he's in form, which it looks like he's starting to come back into form. I think he's a notorious kicker. So like 3:46, it's not the fastest 1500 time in the world. Like, you know, and I'm sure you'll admit that, but he can kick off a good 5k pace and a good 10k pace. I've seen it so many times. Like when it comes to like podium 5ks, for instance, he's just notorious for like winning them by just sitting, and the last 200 meters just taking away. Same on the track as well. I've seen him doing it in 5ks. He'll just sit and just wind up.
He said that you sent me a review he done of the Battersea Park 5k, and I watched that, and he was alluding to that he normally.
Yeah, I thought he was going to win that.
Yeah,
I thought he was away. I think he was
away.
Still coming. I think he's like wasn't at 100% fitness then, so I think he's probably.
He got beat by the better guy on the night there because Jonathan was.
Well,
that was kick of the year so far for this series.
He was obviously coming into like sensational form as well.
I'd like to see him back in.
Yeah, so not Jarrow, but hopefully Fulham.
And then Ribble.
And hopefully Ribble. I think he maybe he did Ribble Valley last year. Well, Alfie 7:53 3k as well. So yeah, he's absolutely no mug. And when we're talking about tactics, there, we'll put the graphic on the screen at this point. But the course we know is slow. Is so
Easy.
flat and fast.
Slipping up
Cat's
now.
out the bag. It's slow.
So you start on the track, go out onto the road, and then it's a long out and back type course, but totally flat as a pancake. So Omar, we suspect, will go out hard, and Alfie's just got to do a rope a dope, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's just got to hang not too far off. Don't let him get too far
I
away.
don't think he'll give him much room, but I think it's because of how straight it is, and like 85% probably the course is like straight. So like it's going to be quick for the first 5k.
It's perfect for rhythm running, isn't it?
Yeah, because even the only turn you really have is when you do the 180 loop. But then
York Avenue, it's still it's a smooth corner.
Yeah, it's not tight. It's not like you don't go completely on yourself, but the rest of it, like the corners are like they're flowing, like it's like a square. You almost go around a housing square, and then you come all the way back down. So you're essentially running in a straight line. You can't read, other than marathons, right? You don't really get much of an opportunity to do that, do you? So
no, you don't. No.
What do you prefer on a course as an athlete? Out and back, or like a few shorter loops?
Ooh.
I like an out and back.
I've never done an out and back. Have you?
Out and back course.
As long as it's flat, I don't care.
Do you know what's the worst though?
Fussy.
Do you know when you're like when you're struggling in a race and you're on lap courses and you're like, I've got another 2 laps to go.
Yeah.
But do you know like I'm at? Like 1 year I did that. I was so unfit, and the last 2 laps were just like, I want this to end now. It just wouldn't end.
Doing
I was like,
crosses
this is
abroad, they're shorter. Like doing cross countries like abroad.
Yeah.
They're
Short laps.
Yeah, and that's.
Was that tough? Was it?
I found that harder. Like when it'd be like 7 1.4k laps, and I'd be like,
So I did
7.
I did podium 1 year as well, and like that was the same because it was 1k laps there. Like, and I remember then thinking like,
It's good for
I was unfit
spectators.
again though. I think maybe it's just the correlation is that if you're unfit, like, and you're struggling halfway around, you know you've got that. You're like, I know I've got another 2 laps here to go. Like, whereas if it's 1 lap, like say like you do like 2 laps in total, you think, well, I've only got 1 more lap.
Yeah,
Psychologically, it's easier.
It's a bit like a 5k on the track or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you start struggling,
already,
a lap is a long way. Whereas, I always quite like the out and backs. Like Telford 10k, for example, is 2 laps, but 2 sort of long out and backs, or Abbey Dash courses like that. I quite liked because in my head I was like, all right, you switch off until the turn point, like in a relaxed sort of rhythm, and then the race starts in the second point. Whereas when you're on laps, it's like you have checkpoints and stuff, and you're like, oh well, was this far? But yeah, this is certainly a very fast course, and I know we mentioned a few times, but the difference from last year is because it's a 2-lapper. The A race starts first, and they'll all be on the second lap when the B race merges in, so there'll be no like having to overtake or anything like that. So yeah, that'll be good.
There's plenty of marshals so that Omar cannot get lost.
Yeah, exactly. You can't get lost on this straight road. But
if one man can.
Be him.
So we've got Doug is returning, Doug Musson.
Yes.
So in for the double. So
Come on, Doug.
So Doug, right? He obviously was won our race in Warwick, and then second in Warrington. He actually hasn't ran much this year. So after spring, he obviously had like some issues.
Has he been injured? Because we were wondering
some,
this
like,
because
a few injuries.
Yeah, because he ran at Warwick. that was a strong run, because that day the weather wasn't good. It was and the course itself wasn't a fast flat course, and he had a real strong run there.
So what are you trying to say about this last run then?
You are?
What are you trying to say about his last run?
What are you trying to take me down here? Huh?
He's obviously on the way back and got a race in, so that he's blown the cobwebs away, and now he's got a much faster course a few weeks later. So yeah, we're hoping for a big jump from Doug, and then locally we've got a few like really good local athletes. So Joe Armstrong is another man in form. So he's ran PBs across the board this year. Had a bit of time off in the summer, but then came back, ran the Great North 5K, was 12th there, 6th in the Westminster Road Mile. I think he ran 4:10 at Westminster
Yeah,
last
he's
week.
about 4:9, 4:10.
So I mean, he obviously improved across the board last year. He was 5th in Newcastle 10K. But he's coming into good form on the roads, and he's carrying speed in there. So yeah, I think Joe's on for another.
He always
jumper.
puts a solid shift in, doesn't he? So
Yeah, Conrad Franks, Gateshead stalwart.
Yep.
He's an interesting fact for you. I seen him running down that road out there last time we came to do a podcast.
Really?
Yeah,
it's fit, isn't it?
that's an interesting.
Should have
fact.
got him in for a few.
Yeah, big shout out to Conrad.
He's another one who doesn't look.
Yeah.
He's another one who doesn't look like his age. He looks very young, doesn't he?
He does. Something in the water in Gateshead, mate.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Conrad won the British Masters
I'm not from
10K
Gateshead.
last year. But yeah, Conrad is hilarious. So we've obviously ran at Gateshead for many years together, and yeah, something that always sticks in the mind for me. Like, everybody have like protein shakes and afterwards. And I remember Conrad just coming into change rooms and Gateshead afterwards and just opening a tin of beans and necking it off.
What?
So, yeah,
Stop.
it's such a Conrad thing. Honestly.
What?
That's
cool.
That's pretty hard. That like.
That's rogue.
That's the kind of content we need on this pod. If he came in here, would you reckon not can back
I
off?
reckon
Probably.
you would be able to raw dog one of them if you had no, because like
Raw dog.
That is
Yeah,
gross.
Marin.
A tin of beans.
Cold tin of beans after training, yeah, just
That
necking
is
it down
what
there.
is wrong with him.
I know I heard you just used to do it with spaghetti hoops. You're classy girl.
Alpha Betty.
Alpha Betty Biscotti. Yeah, okay. He was the toddler over it.
Yeah, he's funny. I know Jason Bennett's on the entry list, but I think he said he's likely to not do Jarrow. But hopefully we'll see him again later. But who knows?
Come on.
you've got to put some respect on his name. He's turned out pretty much every time,
Yeah, he
hasn't he?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And he's our favourite, so.
Yeah,
No, we haven't got any favourites. No, we've got favourites at the top five.
Oh,
But,
yeah, sounds like somebody does over there.
No,
But Jason is.
You're trying to take me down, you.
So yeah, we've got a few others returning. So Alex Brown, who at best is 29.36. Actually, in that race where he ran 29.36, Omar won it and I was second. So yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
Start
exactly.
over. Seasons best is 31.09, I think.
Yep. And he ran in Newcastle 10K and then the Quayside 5K, which he was 13th there. So initially we missed him when I'd looked at who'd done two. But yeah, he's coming back into form. So he ran in Morpeth's team at the weekend, who were third in the 6th stage. So yeah, Alex is picking up. He's done a year of like being a primary school. I think primary school.
No, secondary
School
I know it's
teacher,
school. I
secondary
won't say
PE.
school, but he's in Durham.
Yeah, so obviously the PGC year is difficult because done
You
done
know
that.
all about that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure he'll come
And I've
back
got
into
his
some
medal.
form
I've
now.
still got Alex. I've got your medal. So he needs to. I've been in contact with him already, and he hasn't arranged to come and collect it.
Right.
What
It's going in the
medal?
bin if it's not being collected by
Has
next
he
week.
ignored you?
Nah, he's not ignoring me. He's just not.
He
me.
did do a Great North Run as well in 68 minutes.
He did.
So he's getting in form.
Yeah, he did, exactly. So the ball's definitely rolling. We've got a few others who deserve a shout out, like Adrian Bales and Connor Marshall, who and Peter Smallcombe, who also ran in our 1500 metre races or paced in them. So yeah, big shout out to the lads for supporting our other
Monty
other
Watson
events
from
in there.
Highgate.
I reckon Peter Smallcombe's
He's
going to
got a-
make some
he's got
big
a
moves
couple
this
of-
year.
I do as well.
Yeah,
couple of,
he's
races,
a top man.
hasn't he?
He's got bags of talent. That man. That's all I'm saying.
Under 23, so much development there. Yeah, I think he's going to have a good all season.
Yeah, so Peter ran 14.52 at the North East Champs in Sunderland is downhill. But anyway, we'll size that one. He is an
8:15 athlete as well. He focuses mainly on that middle distance, but getting into winter, focus on a little bit more strength endurance. Yeah, but don't write him off.
So Peter comes from a running pedigree family, shall we say? So his granddad used to train with Brendan Foster, and a lot of people used to say that he was, very, very, very good. He just didn't like racing, but that he could have been one of the top guys like nationally as well. He just wasn't a racer. And then his uncle raced against me for quite a few years. So
did he?
Yeah, running background. Peter, also a good fact, he's like national level table tennis player.
Oh, he's actually very good. Yeah, he's really
lives
good.
on the course. So local. His house. Well, actually, I don't want to give away his address, but backs onto Moncton Stadium. So yeah, he'll have the local support as the fan favourite.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
The big man.
Yeah. No, Larry Mack. He was the fan favourite last year.
Yeah,
100%.
so obviously, we would have been good to see Larry back on his home course. So yeah, we did say Laura Whitman, fair play for getting him to PBs, because he's a very difficult to coach person, shall we say.
How do you know this?
Oh, God, because he's one of my best mates, but he's he'd ask you what training to do.
Cans of beans and stuff like that.
Yeah,
never trains.
You'd say, what do you think I should do for training this week? And you could write him a plan.
Yeah.
And then one day later he's gone off piste, ran a 23-mile up a mountain, run through a waterfall or something, and so yeah, he likes all the fell stuff.
Okay,
so he was trying to do more track and more road stuff to hone, but he was missing the hills a bit too much. So they've gone back to basics with that to build his strength up before he comes back into racing. So a little spell off, but he will be back.
Let's get to the ladies.
Yep, and then on the ladies' side,
we have Georgina Weston.
Yep.
I think she's just done the big half at the 1st of September, and she did 89 minutes, which isn't too bad at all. Her 10k PB is 36:47. We've got Charlotte Dillon, who I'd say is probably a local of ours. Is that Houghton?
Houghton,
Houghton Harriers.
Houghton.
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 Houghton. You say Houghton?
Houghton?
You're from the northeast and you say Houghton.
I say Houghton and I get pulled for it all the time.
It's not Houghton, it's
depends
Houghton.
Where you're from.
Yeah.
It's Houghton.
I'll ask somebody from Houghton.
Sort it out, man.
Settle
Do you
down.
want a knuckle sandwich or what?
Well, that's Charlotte at Jarrow, whether it's Houghton or Houghton.
Houghton Spring.
Houghton,
Okay.
I thought it was Houghton Spring.
Potato.
don't even know
Houghton
get a
Spring does
parking
ring a
ticket,
bell, to be
mate,
fair,
so.
actually. Maybe everyone says Houghton, I swear.
I know, but I get offended when people call.
I'm not going to sleep
Newcastle
tonight.
Newcastle.
It's going to kill my mind too much.
Let's find. We need to ask a local, because it should be what.
Everyone says it.
Charlotte.
Yeah.
My life's been a lie.
Whatever the locals say is,
Probably
that's
try
what it
right
should
now.
be.
I don't know, because I'm from Prudhoe.
Brother.
See, it's pretty right.
Right?
This is a
But I kept told
this is some dodgy stuff
about
going on here.
this, because people say, actually, it's Prudhoe. So you either say Prudhoe or Prudhoe. I'm from Prudhoe, and I say Prudhoe.
I would have
But
said
apparently
Prudhoe as
that's
well.
the wrong way of saying it.
I think we're just from the posh side of Prudhoe. I'll ask Terry Scott. He's from Prudhoe.
Prudhoe.
So we'll ask
Prudhoe.
Charlotte, but I'm really interested to see how she gets on, because, as you said, young athlete, under 20. In the English schools cross country last year, 19th, 8th in the inter-counties cross country, just won the Great North 5k on the road in September. So good form, younger athlete, used to shorter distances in general and the cross country. 58 high PB. So that the PBs are actually quite closely matched
again.
between the 35-30 to 36-30 sort of region. So we've got also another local, Alex Nedden, who's Jarrow and Heaven through and through, V35 now, but she's just run a PB in the Great North Run. So I know she's a mum, and her little kids are growing up a bit now, so she's obviously getting back into her running and showing some great form. So yeah, it's another one for the mums.
I love to see the local girls get out there, and the mums definitely.
Exactly. Another shout out there would be Rebecca Robinson, who's a regular in our races and is V40 now, former GB runner, and Rebecca's obviously got a very high pedigree, still races regularly, so is always in good shape. 35.5 minutes this year, so yeah, I'm sure she will be up there.
And she did the Newcastle race, didn't she?
Yeah, 4th in Newcastle in January. So yeah, this would be a second race for Rebecca and Alex, because Alex was 8th in Newcastle.
Great.
It's going to get interesting because their season's best, like you previously mentioned, their season's bests are all very similar. And if you look at Rebecca Robinson and Charlotte Dillon and Kirsty Longley, they're the ones under 36 minutes, and that brings a different element to it with the points.
So Kirsty may or may not come to Jarrow. Obviously, she's done quite a lot of our events now. It's another travel, but she may fancy it. She is a regular racer, so yeah, she could be favoured just on current form if she does sign up. But I guess, Stacey, let's pick your brains a bit. How can we engage more of the ladies to get them to come in? What would attract you to run this? Well, actually, to be fair, you were entered but were injured.
I was entered, so I'm absolutely gutted that I can't run it because I've picked up a calf strain. Unfortunately, I'm on the way back, and I'm getting stuck into some decent running training now, but just slowly building it up. So it's probably a little bit too soon for me to race. Hopefully, I'll be entered into Ribble Valley. We'll see. But it's a shame because I would have loved. I entered a few of the top flight races, so it's a shame that I won't get to actually race some of them. But next season, hopefully. For me, honestly, I think I've seen the organisation of the top flight series and seen the standard as well. I really like the fact that you race all together, mainly men's and women's, so you kind of can guarantee that there's going to be someone to hang on to the back of and get a quick time. The courses are relatively flat. I'm a big fan of flat courses. I do not like running on the hills. I try and avoid it.
Track specialist.
At all costs. I hate it, which Nathan is probably going to pick up on and get me to
do more hills. You'll have to in Watergate Park.
Yeah, probably do hill training now. So yeah, but in terms of what's the barriers, I think, is it a confidence thing? Are females out there maybe a little bit lacking in confidence to actually get entered into some of these races? My mindset is that it's actually more motivation for me when it's a mixed race. Do you think there would be, if we did something like a separate race of a men's start and a female start, do you think that would attract more females into entering at all? Or do you think that would actually put off women?
I know I'm
asking a man's opinion, but
it's a tough one.
You guys are very
I think it's worth doing at some point. I think it's worth doing a great off run style, set off the women like handicapped so that they finish around about just I think it's one of them
things where it's like chicken and egg though, isn't it? Because the downside with that can backfire if you don't have enough, so it's then not competitive. So like it's great that we had the UK champs on the quayside at the Great North weekend, but there was 4 ladies in the ladies race, so it was just such a non-event. Like it was something. It was like it's disappointing. Like, it sort of takes the wind out of your sails as an athletics fan, because you're like, I didn't really want to see that. I wanted to see. I mean, that was perhaps because they set the criteria far too high, but we want to see 50 people in there.
Yeah.
Want to see 50. So if we can get a big enough field, then we can do a ladies race. But it's like, it's chicken and egg. So do you say it's a ladies only race and then hope that over time that brings enough ladies to the races, or do we just try and build it up here so we know, okay, I've got 20 or 30, send a survey out and say, would you rather set off first? And if democracy, if 50% say yes, we'd rather have a separate race, do a separate race.
I think you maybe do it slightly differently. I think you advertise your top flight series as you will do next year. You'll have your fixtures in place. You're going to get entrants in. Then when you think, actually, I've got 10, 15 really strong female athletes here, I'm going to speak to them prior to the race and then go to them and say, what about this concept? You's going off first. Engage their opinion, because they might flat out say, nah, I want to be in this because I want to get toured around. Or they might go, yeah, you know what? we'll get out there, we'll get out on the front, we'll get out in a pack and we'll work and we'll race it. I think that's the way you're going to have to do it.
I think definitely getting some feedback and understanding of the participants that are, of the ladies that are entering into the event. Why are they entering? Is it a time-based thing? Is it a position thing? Is it simply to build confidence? Is it just to enjoy it? Are they doing the races out of pure enjoyment? And it's nothing really to do with performances, but other aspects as well. So I think gaining some feedback on the women that have done it already, understanding what their mindset is, because you ask me, I would always want to race with the men, but I don't speak on behalf of all women. Maybe a lot of women, maybe a lot of women find that off-putting, and maybe my mindset is different. We need to gain some feedback from,
I think
from
as
the
well,
females.
Like, it's not just the athletes, because I think often coaches are the ones that dictate an athlete's racing schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that, like, it's not just to do whether the athlete wants to race or not. I think it's whether or not their targets, what the targets are, and maybe whether the coach is getting the information for the races. Because, like, they usually quite often, if coaches are like a little bit older, they might be stuck in the, well, this is not notoriously at this time of the year, so you're going to do this race.
Yeah.
Like, Ribble Valley probably have quite a good turnout.
Exactly, yeah. That is a good point. That is a really good point, because an established race like Ribble Valley, well, that does get a quality.
That's always going to get it. It's the same as like Traffic 10K or something like that.
And maybe it's just because it's first year.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to recruit for a new race. Yeah. So hopefully we've grabbed the attention, and I think you're always going to have to face the fact with, even though we obviously want to get a much more strength and depth ladies field, it is always going to be harder than getting the men's field, because there's at least 10 times as many men who are doing this. So you're always going to have the men's stack. So maybe it's that we're like have higher expectations for ourselves in terms of recruitment, just because we really want it to happen. But I think like we at the minute, like I guess such a takeaway. For example, Kirsty is sitting right at the top, she's doing incredibly well, but Kirsty said to us, like, the younger girls should be coming in here and beating me. Yeah. So Kirsty's sitting at the top, and 48-year-old and running 35-minute 10Ks, but she's turned out consistently and picked up points. Actually, that means the barrier to getting the series prize money, of a lot of prize money, the bar is actually relatively low. So if you had just done 3 of our races at the minute, you'd be sitting in 500, 600, 700 pound territory for the overall series. So that the carrot is definitely there. And maybe you're right, Rich, that like obviously once we've gone through 1 year, we then tweak the races to try and avoid other fixtures as best as possible, to try and find the sweet spot. Hopefully next year it increases. But yeah, any feedback, send it this way.
One thing you should take from it though, positives, is that you've had multiple male and female athletes returning to the series. So it's not like they've came and done one race and been like, that was just a race. They've thought, actually, I'm going to target a couple more then. So
yeah, exactly. Those who've come have all given good feedback, to be fair. So yeah, that's good. It's just we obviously we want more. Yeah, we want more.
Absolutely. In time. Yeah, it's building up slowly but surely, and the more engagement as well on social media, marketing, advertising. That all of that stuff takes time.
Yeah, exactly.
Another thing as well is quickly is that when are you like recruiting for these like races?
All the time.
Yeah, but like how far ahead are you thinking? Like,
I mean, we release the dates like a year in advance, and then we're sending out something like every month to people who've already entered, and then putting things on social media.
For like the following
that's building up. Yeah, for the next event. So it's just getting the ball rolling. But I think once these events have happened once, people will have paid more attention. So like, if I was going to race now and I was looking for races, I'd go on Podium's website, I'd go on Friday Night Under the Lights, I would look at where their dates are, because it's already in my head. I know them races are fast, or like when's Abbey Dash. So hopefully next year people start when they're doing the whole planning phase, when are then top flight ones. And some of these races are a risk if you're wanting to do it, like you've done all this training, you want to go and run fast. I'm telling you that it's a fast course and a good field, but until I actually see it in front of them, it's like, oh well, is it? I'm not sure. So like, seeing is believing. So yeah, everybody who has come and ran, one thing we can say is like on the women's side, every course has had a course record this year. On the men's, the only one that hasn't had a course record was Scott Beattie, just missing his own course record. So like, we've pretty much got 100% rate of whacking course records on the men's and women's side. So we've done really well with it. It's just we want to just keep going.
Windy conditions.
Yeah. But anyway,
we'll talk after.
Yeah, go on then.
No, it's alright. I was just gonna say like like this is probably a good time of year to start recruiting people, because like now there's off season essentially, like people are just coming back, then they're starting to map out what they're going to do for the year. Like if you start reaching out to people now for January and February and be like, well, what race have you got? Well, can you maybe we can try and sort something out, get you up here, and like, and also as well, like the fact is like the USP for these races for me is like is the prize money. Yeah. It's not the fast. I know, like obviously the Stacey you enter and like you're like, well actually you're gonna really go for a really quick time. But it felt like because you're surrounded by people, but sometimes at the guys at the front, like it's or in Kirsty Longley's example here, like where she was in no man's land for the last part, like that can be problematic. So like for me, it's not about the fast times when you enter these races; it's about the prize money. Whereas you were talking about podium, well, everyone enters podium, they don't actually ask what the field is normally, unless they've got it advertised. Most people will just be like, right, podium's gonna be quick, so I'm just gonna enter it. Like you want to just like enter the race because you know that if you rock up 9 times out of 10, probably gonna be at least 2 or 3 decent runners there. So when you find out what people's main motives are for entering the races, then you can kind of target that a bit better. That's
tell you what,
the prize money is amazing.
Speak some sense to you sometimes.
Sometimes it's just...
what it is. I forgot about my parking tickets. Like, it's just like all this information just was like...
I'm sat there in awe of him there.
So yeah, for this week...
my limitless bill.
I have to go on Google it, I can.
Well, you guys can mention it on the live stream again on Sunday morning. So the prize money will be the same as usual. So it's £200 for the win, then £250 if you're under 30 minutes, or 33.15 on the women's side. That money pays out down to top 8. We've got the course record bonus, which is on 29.31 on the men's side, and the women's has to be sub 32.45 to bring that in line. So yeah, all the bonus monies are still there, and the extra series prize money on top of that. So yeah, and in terms of next year's calendar, there's a few of our venues that we are just waiting to secure. So the majority of them are going to be similar, same date, but there's a few courses that we're going to take out because they didn't work as well in terms of they were clashing with other events that we're trying to work around, like the podiums and the Friday night under the lights and stuff. Some of ours, like say Warrington, that might clash with the relays again, so we're looking at alternatives. So yeah, hopefully November we're going to release the dates for next year. So the next Top Flight show we do, hopefully we've got all them dates locked in and confirmed.
The big reveal.
We do the big reveal.
That's what it's billed as, the big reveal.
I mean, anybody who's planning, Newcastle's the first one in January, so we'll be back there January the
fast course, mate.
But yeah, let's give it this month. We'll try and get everything lined up and announced.
Cam, do you think you'll race one?
I was just talking about this before the podcast, wasn't it? I'm actually thinking about doing Jarrow next week, actually. But I haven't spotted some coach yet, so I don't know. I just came on. I was like, why should I just do it? Like,
go on, just do it.
I'm so unfit right now. Like, I would gas out after 5k, but I'm considering doing it because I'm thinking ahead. Like, I'm thinking if I'm in great 10k shape, which is not going to happen, but if I am, then I could do Fulham, and then who knows, maybe I could do Ribble Valley. But when is Ribble Valley again? What exact date?
December. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about doing it.
You're injury free?
I think so, yeah. No, I've had no issues for last week.
Don't jinx that now.
Well, I know, probably get it or something. But Cam, do it. Mate, you don't look. Put with Stacey over here. Is desperate to run and is hindered by injuries.
On this.
You've got the ability.
We're just playing around with like IDs at the minute, you know.
Play around with ideas, but have a bit of fun with it. Go and test yourself.
Or take it out hard.
You two just want rid of me in the commentary box. That's all it is.
No, you
it?
bring good entertainment.
I can see through it.
I genuinely want to see you on that line.
Yeah, I'd love to see you on the
I'll have a
start
think
line,
about it. I'll have a think about it. It's like, it depends if my Achilles holds up then, because it was pretty bad for a few months.
Here we go. He's got an injury. He's got an injury in 30 seconds.
I said if it holds up, like it's in good nick at the minute.
If your name appears, if Cameron's name appears on open track, he's in there. So yeah, like thank you very much for coming and joining us, and again, hopefully it'll be the big reveal in the next month. So thanks, Stacey and Rich and Cam.
Thank you.
Cheers. Look forward to it.
Yeah.